Hello and welcome to Retrotainment Recast. We're back and we are doing an absolute classic back from we're sticking to
False.
1994.
False.
My name is Carl Sherlock and we're actually going to recast the first film I ever saw in the cinema. It's the Flintstones, baby.
It's a strange one because it's quite bad when you watch it now.
Yeah,
But I remember enjoying it when I was a kid, and I'm sure if you showed this to kids that had watched the Flintstones cartoon, they'd probably enjoy it as well. So it's a strange one.
Yep.
It's definitely the better of the two live actions that they're doing because
Viva Rock Vegas you stay away from.
Yeah, that's even worse. It doesn't even have the good cast. At least this one had a good cast in it.
Apart from Rosie O'Donnell.
Yes,
she wasn't even bad as Betty. She wasn't
awful as Betty. I just don't know how
kept her out of it basically.
She was very minimal. Like that, she was actually the toughest one to cast here because she does so little in the film.
I don't know. We'll get into who we thought was tough to cast, but we have Greg here, and anyway, our champion, going up against Ted. Ted looking for his third title reign.
Third title reign. One long one, one short one. So looking for a new one, a nice long one.
Nah, not happening.
That's what I'm looking for here.
Perfect. Right. Well, we'll jump into it right away, and we'll probably go with the smallest role.
Well, hang on.
Send in the pics.
I'll send in my pic for you.
Send in the pictures.
Tell me when you're ready, Greg. 3, 2, 1. Gone.
I lost the list that I had, so I had to do it in notes. That's why it's screenshotted.
That's fine. As long as it's there, it's all good.
We'll go with the smallest role, and unfortunately, it was her last ever film. Elizabeth Taylor's last ever film as Pearl Slaghorn, as Slaghoople. Sorry,
Slaghoople.
Pearl
I
Slaghoople.
had her name wrong in that. I have a Slugworthy.
I just wrote Pearl. I was like, I'm not even going to bother pretending with the surname.
Or Wilma's mother. There we go.
Wilma's mother, Pearl. Yeah.
Greg, you're the champion. Who did you get in here?
I'm just going straight in here. I went with Goldie Hawn.
Okay.
Straight up, like for like, basically.
Yeah, another golden generation actress.
It was between her and I had Susan Sarandon as well, but I think
Goldie Hawn's more regal.
Yeah, the look and the appeal came off her for this, so I was like, yeah, that'll do me.
Cool. No, I like Goldie Hawn there.
Yeah, that's a solid choice. I went with this, like the style of the character, in that it's a very competitive character, very much willing to stand up for themselves. I know that she ends up getting tied up by
and Fred
Cliff,
leaves her on the floor,
and Fred leaves her. But her character is very willing to stand up for herself. So I went with somebody who's synonymous with that, in Sigourney Weaver.
Sigourney Weaver, okay.
Yeah, someone who's just got that's like, if you're talking about a woman who's just capable of looking after herself but has that big name value as well.
I don't think she ever does look after herself really, though. She just mouths off an awful lot.
I don't know. She's a survivor.
And well, Goldie Hawn definitely has a mean streak about her too.
Yeah, I'm not saying Goldie Hawn doesn't. I'm just saying, like, that's what I was thinking. I was like, this is what the character is. She's a combative woman, like.
They are both good choices. Tough one to choose. I went here with Catherine O'Hara for this role.
Who?
The mother in Home Alone, or most recently, she's been in Schitt's Creek, which
I didn't watch that, but yeah,
I haven't watched Schitt's Creek.
That's a good show.
She's absolutely fantastic in Schitt's Creek.
Didn't even know she was still acting.
Yeah, I watch her in Schitt's Creek, and you'd love her for this role.
That might make sense actually, because I've seen a picture of her and Macaulay Culkin lately.
Yeah.
Together, I was like, oh. I was like, well, she hasn't been around anywhere in years, and then all of a sudden this pops up. That makes sense.
For this one, it is a very tough. Two very good choices. I'm gonna see a lot. I'll have to give it to Goldie. It's a pick 'em here, honestly.
And I mean, like, I couldn't even argue the point that I'd be like, oh well, Sigourney Weaver won't do those small roles.
She would
all
the time.
Yeah. She loves those roles now.
Very tough one there, lads, to choose from. Next we'll move on to the lovely Miss Stone, Miss Halle Berry.
Indeed.
My God, was Halle stunning in this?
Yeah, this one was.
Yeah, but that would do exactly, I should say.
Yeah, this one was kind of a strange one to cast because I was kind of like, will I use someone who's well known or someone on their kind of way up? Because I know we all know Halle Berry now, but at that time, I think
in '94 we did, yeah.
She was kind of just breaking into the scene. I couldn't really think of anyone that I felt would fit that role who hasn't already made a bit of a name for themselves. Hollywood's kind of changed a bit in that sense that
the social media's killed.
A lot of people have already made their name, so it's very hard not to. I had a couple of people I thought maybe Megan Fox or Natalie Dormer could do it. Margot Robbie I thought definitely could do it, but just definitely too big at this point for that role. Definitely. So I went with somebody who their star is starting to really, really rise, and they're maybe a bit too big for this role in terms of their star already. They might take it. I wouldn't really know. I went with Zendaya. I think she could do the part very well. I just don't know if she's now too big for the part. I don't really know about that anymore.
You're trying to use your tactics here. Knowing my love is Zendaya, huh?
Well, Zendaya gets cast in everything, so I could have just put her into any role and you probably would have accepted it. But no, I think in terms of this role, she'd be very good at it. The flirtatious part of it, but also having the kind of the heart to be like, I don't really like what we're doing here.
Yeah.
And I think she could pull that off. She has the acting ability for it. Sure. It's just if she's maybe a bit too big for the role now, would be my biggest concern.
Well, she's probably the biggest star on the planet now in female acting at the minute.
Well, no, Margot Robbie's the biggest female star.
I don't know, she's not really picking into much. I know she done Suicide Squad and that was it lately, but I just say she would be now at this minute in time. But that'll change if Margot Robbie brings out another.
Yeah.
Thing. It's going to be between dollars for the next little while. I'd say. I actually went differently. I did go with Margot Robbie.
Okay.
Halle Berry was obviously ridiculously good looking in this movie, so I went with what's probably the hottest actress on the planet, in my opinion. I could be wrong.
All right. I went with someone who she is building her name at the moment, and she's about to blow up from performance for a movie that's coming out in March. And coincidentally, it's from playing a role that Halle Berry has also played. I went with Zoe Kravitz.
Oh yeah.
Catwoman.
That is a good one.
Blow up for the Batman, but I think she'd be, and she's smoking as well.
Yeah, that actually is a really good one. Didn't even think of her, to be honest. Possibly because I was thinking along the lines of she's doing a role that Halle Berry's has done. So I was like, maybe don't do that. I don't know.
I like
maybe
the new ones.
Yeah, maybe subconsciously I was thinking that because I genuinely didn't even think of her. That's actually a really good show.
Looking at these two, and it's the only reason I'm choosing this one is because I don't think Margot Robbie would take such a small role. I think Zendaya is still at a stage that she doesn't have to be the lead and everything.
Yeah.
For that reason, I'm going with Zendaya.
Yes.
Or Zendaya.
Yeah. No, I was the same. I had
you do realize you're never going to get to live this down now, yeah?
Yeah. No, I had Margot Robbie as a backup because I was like, she is someone that could do it, and it was just which one of them was the bigger star. And to me, at the moment, Margot Robbie is just the biggest star.
As I said, they're just kind of flip flop between them. Really, when one brings a movie out, it'll put them as.
Yeah, I think Margot Robbie just has the cards. I think she just has the cards up her sleeve at the moment already.
She has she has the pedigree behind her for Oscar films.
Yeah, and
Zendaya doesn't have that yet.
Zendaya is building to that now at the moment. She'll be there, but she has to build to there, I suppose.
Exactly.
So leveled it up now.
Leveled it up, 1-1, and we usually leave the villains till the end, but we have the big four on this, so we're going to leave the big four till the end.
Yeah,
We'll
yeah,
knock the
I
villain.
think so.
We'll knock the villain out here now. We have Cliff Vander Care. Sorry, my writing
Vanderkeer or
is
something. Yeah,
yeah,
it's
exactly.
something like that.
Kyle MacLachlan, and anyway, played him.
Yeah,
That was a
he's
great
good.
shout when they picked him. To be honest,
Oh
like,
yeah,
he's so good for
Big
this
time.
role.
Big time. Which way did you go here, Greg?
Man's a dickhead and everything. Jason McLaughlin
Yeah,
or
Who?
Kyle McLaughlin.
Kyle MacLachlan, yeah,
He's a fucking dick in everything.
he is.
So I had 2 or 3 on this. I had I was thinking Andrew Garfield because he looks like a smug asshole, and then you actually watch him and you're like, yeah, no, it's just not
Too
him.
nice.
I think he's
Yeah.
too likable.
He looks like a smug asshole though.
Yeah, he does.
Uh,
Look-wise, maybe, but I think he just comes across as too likable.
Yeah.
I had Zac Efron on the list as well, and I was like, nah, I might be a bit young, so I went with Oscar Isaacs.
Okay.
Man,
Yeah.
a fair few times.
Yeah,
He does look like a smug asshole too. Don't know the guy. He might be a nice guy.
yeah.
I mean,
It's just the look he has, isn't it?
I'll call him a smug asshole if he wins me a point.
Yeah, I was kind of similar to Greg here in the sense that I was like, the character is, really smug, full of himself, and clearly about to sell out his partner in crime the whole time. Like,
Oh, yeah.
never intends
You
on.
see that coming
like,
all the way through.
Clearly, that's his plan. I kind of went a little bit left field on this. I didn't go with someone who's played those roles too much. So my
Okay.
backup originally was Joseph Gordon-Levitt, who I think could play that role. Kind of has the look to be the kind of smug kind of thing like that.
Don't like that one now, I must say myself.
Yeah, I wasn't sold on it myself. I went with someone, and I really don't know how this one's going to go down. Adam Scott.
The golfer.
Oh, that's a shout.
Not the golfer. No, Adam Scott from Parks and Recs. If people don't know him, that's probably.
I know Adam Scott. I just want to double check.
I typed in Adam Scott and it brought up the live golf scores.
No, it's not him. He's in, like, he was in Krampus, and he was in.
Oh, I know who he is.
He was in
Yeah.
Step
Yeah, Adam
Brothers.
Scott.
I don't remember him being in Step Brothers, but yeah, like, he was in Krampus. And
He was the brother, wasn't he?
He was in the Secret Life of Walter Mitty.
Was he not
Oh,
the brother
no.
in Step Brothers?
he's like the successful brother. Yeah, that's him.
The
Yeah.
one that keeps singing all the time.
Yeah, that's it. I mainly know him from Parks and Rec.
Yeah, I didn't watch that.
He's not
Yeah.
massively smug in that, but you can see that he could be as well. So I was like, I think he could work. He's a little bit left field though.
Adam Scott's a shout. I had 2 here. One I think might be a little bit young. I went with Billy Magnussen. I chose him in the last episode as well. I think he might be a little bit young for
Yeah,
it.
he's probably a bit young.
But
But
one that
I don't know whether it's young, where depending on who you cast as the others.
true. But the
Yeah.
one that I went with here, and I think if this movie was to be remade, he would do it because he actually owns the franchise.
No.
Seth MacFarlane.
He owns the Flintstones.
He owns the Flintstones, yeah.
Wow. Yeah, he'd probably be a good shout.
That's a right shout, actually. Yeah.
He's a very very smug boy.
Although he could be a very good Barney too.
True, he could.
Just on Billy Magnussen, you were thinking he's a bit young.
He looks young, at least.
No, he does. Your man, when he was playing this, was 35.
Well, that's true.
This cast was actually
Young.
quite young. Like even Pearl, like, she was only in her 60s. Like, we both cast someone in their 70s there. Like, she was only in her 60s doing that.
It's true.
So this cast is quite young in comparison to what you would think for a lot.
It was generally a surprising cast bringing her in as Pearl, though.
Oh no, it was. Yeah, I'm not like, it was a big
Oh,
get,
yeah.
but just
Well, I mean, like, it was a big get getting John Goodman and Rick Moranis to come in. They were the big ones. You know what I mean? The rest of the money was spread adequately around.
Elizabeth Perkins and Rosie O'Donnell. I mean, actually, all 7 of these names are pretty damn big. Let's be honest.
I think what sold it here is that at that time, the people that they were getting to come in and do these probably grew up watching the Flintstones, so there was a bit of a love there anyway. So they were probably like, I want to do it. I want to do it. No, I just thought that was interesting. Like, you know, you said
they were making it, it would have been like, oh yeah, all in.
Yeah, no, it was just on the point that you said you felt Billy Magnussen would be a bit young for it, but like he's actually the same age. It's just a surprisingly young cast.
Yeah.
True. But yeah, no, I think Seth MacFarlane would have been a great show.
He would, yeah. Looking at him, he's doing very good, yeah.
For here, I have to go with Adam Scott. I like
that pick. Yeah,
it's a great show.
The goal for Adam Scott.
Yeah, I am. Even when you said it, then I was like the brother from Step Brothers. Like, yeah, you can see that.
Yeah,
smug asshole.
He is. He like, and he's a good actor. Like he can play that, you know, kind of idiot as well, which is great.
Well, the way I see him in this, you know, have you seen The Secret Life of Walter Mitty?
No.
Ben Stiller one.
Ben Stiller. It's probably my favorite Ben Stiller film. And
you just don't like good actors, Carl. Let's be fair. You don't like Will Ferrell.
I don't like stupid comedy. I love stupid comedy.
I love stupid comedy.
Man has no sense of humor, folks. You heard it here first.
We'll move on to one of the big four. We have Betty Rubble, originally played by Rosie O'Donnell. This is a weird one. This is a weird one because if you're casting it from the cartoon, you're not choosing someone like Rosie O'Donnell, and if you're casting someone like from the movie,
you're still not casting Rosie O'Donnell.
You know, it depends on which way you're looking at this.
I don't know how they ended up at Rosie O'Donnell. Like, I'm genuinely shocked that they ended up
bottom of the barrel.
No, but I have no idea how they ended up with her. Like, there was so many more actresses out there, and surely somebody wanted it. I'm surprised she got there. This one was the toughest one for me because in this film, even though she's on screen quite a bit, Betty doesn't really do a whole lot.
Ooh.
Like, she's on screen chopping things and washing things and looking after Bam Bam, but her actual interactions are very minimal.
She's mainly there for the montage of, you know, Fred and Wilma being dicks and then crying.
Yeah. She doesn't really do a whole lot. So I found this one quite tough. Part of me was thinking, did they just go with someone from comedy? So I was thinking, this isn't who I picked, but I was thinking Jenny Slate, who, again, this is someone kind of from Parks and Recs, but is a comedian that would have been quite well known.
Yeah.
I know Greg doesn't watch it, so I'm trying to think of something that she would have been in that Greg might know. She was in Venom, but I don't know if people watched that.
Unfortunately.
I think you'd know who she is anyway, because she's the sister, Mona Lisa Saperstein in Parks and Recs.
Saperstein.
I haven't watched Parks and Recs.
She's you haven't watched it? I thought you had. I thought that's how you knew Adam Scott as well. She is quite funny. I don't know.
Jenny Slate. I know her. She was what's that TV show? I know she did she was a voice in Big Mouth.
Yeah, she was a voice in Zootropolis and Secret Life of Pets and stuff like that. Lorax. I do know her. Yeah. She's quite a good actress, but I just don't know if she would have taken it. I kind of went with the way they cast this. But I went with someone who would have had quite a big name, who has a big name, but isn't really in the limelight anymore. And I don't know how this one's going to go down, but Tiffany Amber Thiessen, who would have been Kelly Kapowski.
Kelly Kapoor, or not Kelly Kapoor. Sorry,
no, Kelly Kapowski.
Not Kelly Kapowski at all.
Kelly Kapowski, very different Kellys. I don't know if she's not really been acting much at the moment, so it might be like it's a kind of small role, so she might take it, is what I was thinking.
I think the last thing I seen her in was that TV show she done, Fast Lane or Fast Life.
I don't even know. I don't know what that is.
There was a TV show that came out about like car race.
Is she not in the reboot of Saved by the Bell?
Is that a reboot or was it just a documentary?
No, it was a reboot,
but it was a new series and got renewed for season 2.
Yeah. Oh. But like other than that, like, you know, if she's gone back to Saved by the Bell, other than that, I don't think she's really done much. Other than when they reached out to her, and they only reached out to her because she's from, you know, she was such a vital part of Saved by the Bell, you know. Maybe she has been acting, but I definitely haven't seen her in anything. So I was kind of thinking this might be something she'd take. It's kind of a small role, but it's the Flintstones, so it has a big name behind it. So it could be a way to get back onto the ladder, is kind of what I was thinking here.
Right.
in the show.
Yeah.
I think she's far too good looking to be Rosie O'Donnell, to be honest.
Well, I mean, she's not
know.
Rosie O'Donnell here.
It is
you know,
30 years. It is like 25 years later after Saved by the Bell.
It's also, I mean, she's
I
not
was going to
playing
say
Rosie
it's more
O'Donnell.
than 25 years since
She's-
this came out.
She's not playing Rosie O'Donnell. Okay, like that. We're not casting Rosie O'Donnell here. We're casting Betty. All right.
Yeah.
So, but the fact that they chose Rosie O'Donnell, that can't be held against me. All right.
Twice they chose her. Twice.
She didn't do the sequel.
She's in the sequel, though.
She's in the sequel. She's just not Betty.
Betty.
She's just in the sequel, though.
Twice. They cast her twice. They handed that lady 2 paychecks.
Yeah. What way did you go here, Greg?
I struggled pretty badly with this one. I went from pillar to post under every fucking comic actress I could find. And then when I rewatched it, I was like, do you know what? She doesn't have a whole lot of funny lines in this.
No.
But I went with someone that has a name, like a big enough name. Like obviously Tiffany Amber Thiessen doesn't have a name anymore. I went with Katrina Heigl.
Katherine Heigl.
Yeah. I mean, she plays that stubborn fuck of a character in a million different things.
I don't know that Betty's particularly stubborn, to be honest.
She kind of is.
I don't know that she is. I think she's just down on her luck because her husband gets fired.
Because Barney's a top bloke.
Yeah, like I don't think Betty's particularly stubborn. I think she's just, you know.
Well, that's what I got from her. I was like, she just.
Most of her stuff is just kind of giggling away at whatever Wilma says anyway. So I suppose it doesn't really matter who you lash in here.
I have to be honest, I'm not a big fan of either of these picks.
Yeah, I wasn't a big fan of whoever they picked for the role.
Yeah, that's true.
So,
But isn't Rosie O'Donnell actually put down as one of the worst castings before this part?
Probably.
yeah, probably.
I went off the movie and I cast Melissa McCarthy in this role.
No, I looked at it and I was like, no, not doing that. Not happening. Absolutely not happening. It was the easiest choice.
That's why I went with it.
I
might have changed it if I was actually, one of you were the judges. I may not have done it, but because I was just like,
I fully had the idea of just going, yeah, it's the easiest thing to put in, and I was like, I remember when Carl said that the last time.
Yeah, I do have a newfound respect for Melissa McCarthy after watching Nine Perfect Strangers. So she isn't a bad actress whatsoever, and I could see her doing.
Maybe
I
haven't seen the film you're talking about, so I'm still basing it off the other things I've seen her in, and I'd definitely be like, no. But I mean, I suppose they cast Rosie O'Donnell, so it probably wouldn't have mattered to them. As I said, this was the toughest role for me. I just couldn't think. The role is just so minimal. Like even Pearl, who is actually Pearl is actually in the film less than her, and has more of an impact, like more of a defined character rather than just Wilma's friend who kind of giggles a little bit.
Yeah, I kind of went off the name then as well. As I said, I struggled really badly.
Yeah, that's it. I'm not a fan of either, really, and
we've had a few of these before.
Yeah. And I absolutely despise, not only as an actress but as a person.
Oh, I'm not a fan of her either. But
Katherine Heigl. But Rosie O'Donnell was a name. Katherine Heigl's a name. I'm going with her over Tiffany Thiessen.
I feel bad. That's one I'm just going to be like.
I still think. I still think Tiffany Amber Thiessen still does have a name. I think people still do know who she is.
Only people our age, but if you ask anyone that's 10 years younger than us,
I don't know. I think even if you ask people that are 10 years younger, just and say Kelly from Saved by the Bell, they might know who she was.
But that's a might. If you ask, do you know who Katherine Heigl is? They're going a lot of
groaning, but yeah, didn't know.
Yeah.
Possibly. I don't know. Neither. I don't know. It's weird.
It was dreadful. We'll just move quickly on after that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's just rip the Band-Aid off and get the fuck out. We're done.
Yeah. Level up.
Wilma. The Perkins, lads.
We're leveled up here, are we?
It's 2-2. 2-2 with 3 to go.
So back to me.
2 in a hole.
Greg, the champion.
Oh, sorry. Yes, back to Greg. Yeah, I went first there.
So I had originally got Karen Gillan as Wilma,
Okay.
Mhm.
and it wasn't up until late this evening I changed it, and I went with comic actress kind of thing. I went with Isla Fisher,
Oh, okay. Yeah. I like
who's
Isla
married
Fisher.
to Ali G, and obviously was in Scooby Doo and about 500 other
Wedding
comic.
Crashers.
Yeah, she was the stage 5 Virgin Klinger in Wedding Crashers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is she not also your one from Enchanted, or is that someone else I'm thinking of?
No, I think it's someone else.
I think that's somebody else.
Hello.
The Disney movie.
Yeah, Enchanted.
Yeah, no, she wasn't the main
They're-
character. She wasn't the main
They're
character.
doing Disenchanted.
No, I
Yeah,
think.
no, that's yeah, that's someone completely different.
I think you're thinking of someone different
I'm
there.
thinking of Amy Adams.
Yeah, she's
They do look similar.
Yeah, she was in
Yeah.
Scooby Doo as well.
Yeah, she was. Yeah, she's been in quite a few things. She's in Tag and stuff as well.
Yeah.
I don't know if that would have helped you, Carl. I don't know if you went.
No,
ended
I've
up
seen
seeing
Tag.
that.
Tag is
Yeah,
hilarious.
Tag's
Is that
very good.
the wedding one where they're playing tag? Like,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
never actually watched it.
Oh, that's hilarious.
It's actually really good. I thought it was going to be kind of shit when I went to see it, and really enjoyed it. I went to see it because I was like, it sounds like a funny concept. It's a turn your brain off movie, and I was like, it'll probably be a little bit shit, but that's fine. I was like, this is actually deadly. Like,
Oh no, it's
Actually,
very funny.
before we go on with this one, I have a question, right? So I had a different person for Betty that I forgot to say. Would Christina Ricci have made it any better? No, never mind.
I would have chosen her. I would have chosen her over Katherine Heigl.
You chose Catherine Heigl anyway, so we'll move on.
yeah. I think both me and Greg went similar routes on Wilma, in the fact that Wilma is red hair, because I think we both went very similar on
Isla
this.
Fisher's blonde, isn't she?
Nope, Isla
No,
Fisher's
she's-
red hair.
Most of the time I've seen her in things, she's either
I-
blonde or sort of dark haired.
No, she's definitely red hair in Wedding Crashers, isn't she? And
Yeah,
White
she
red
is,
hair,
yeah.
red character she does, yeah. But
I think she was red haired in Tag as well. I could be wrong on that. I don't really remember. But I think we both kind of went similar here. I was thinking Jenna Fisher might be a good shout for this,
she
but
was
maybe
a name of mine.
maybe a little bit old for the role, which is what kind of moved me away from it. I went with someone who hasn't done a massive amount of comedy, but has done some comedies and has been very good in them, and is a big name, Emma Stone. She has done comedy, so it's not like she can't do them.
Yeah, she done that Easy A and things.
Easy A, yeah.
Yeah, and like
that once now, I can't really remember, but yeah.
She did.
She's been in a few things, yeah.
I like
Yes.
Emma Stone. La La
Yeah.
Land, she was great in as well, and so on.
What was
I
it?
must mean
He's the fastest kid alive.
super bad.
Super bad. Like she's in that as well.
He's a freak. He's the
He's a
fastest
freak.
kid
He's the
alive.
fastest kid alive. Yeah.
Actually, I love
And
saying
Cruella,
that
she was brilliant as
She was great in
Cruella,
Cruella.
which is what I was thinking was that Wilma's character becomes this kind of snobby, kind of, oh yes, I'm much better than everyone else character. And
Well, you
that's
have
what I
to
was
think-
thinking from Cruella. She came into that.
And Emma Stone, since we have her cast, she could look like Goldie Hawn's daughter. So could Isla Fisher, I suppose.
Yeah.
Both
are good choices, to be fair. I think we
yeah.
both got stuck on the fact that Wilma has red hair,
Ginger.
though. Like, I definitely think that was something we both. And I was thinking to myself when I was casting, I was like, am I just getting stuck on this? And then I was like, I don't care. I like the pick I've gone with, so I'm just going to go with it.
Fair. I had two choices. The first one I didn't go with someone with red hair. I just went with someone that was smoking hot. That would, why not? I had Gal Gadot there, but I was like, I couldn't really.
I thought of her, and then I was like, I don't know if she'd fit that role either.
Yeah, that's why I was thinking. I was like, no, I'll
She
just have her
could
as a backup.
any role, lads.
Yeah,
Any-
I don't know.
very true.
Apart from recasting her in Fast and the Furious.
I don't know. I don't know if she'd work as Wilma.
According to Joss Whedon, she doesn't understand English very well, so you wouldn't cast her in anything.
Well,
she's starting to run
Moving
herself
on.
into the bad books, isn't she?
possibly.
Joss
I don't
Whedon's
know.
put himself in the bad books.
I think Josh Whedon's the one in the bad books here, but he won't care. He's made his money.
True. My one that I actually went with was Emma Stone.
Yes. Yes. I was worried there because I was like, Isla Fisher was a good one as well. I was like,
Yeah.
oh, this will be a close one. So I'm glad I have that one sorted because you went with Emma Stone as well.
Yeah, they are both good choices, but because I went with Emma Stone as well, and Isla Fisher, although it was a good choice,
the rules.
is not as good a choice
not
to
enough
pull me away.
Yeah, it's not enough to drag you away. Okay, back into the lead. You're on the ropes now, Greg, into the final two.
Very
you only
much
need
so.
one and a draw, though. So
I need to win both, though. Oh, one and a draw, yeah.
One and a draw will do you. I need to win one.
We move on to Barney Rubble, and then Rick Moranis is Barney Rubble, and this was the hardest one for me to recast.
This was at the start until I had to think about Betty, and then I was like, this was tough because I was like, I don't know who to cast because she did nothing in the film. That's it. Yeah. And I'd said this to you previously. I was like, I think Barney's going to be the toughest to recast. And then when I watched it, I was like, oh, Betty's nearly impossible to cast because you could put anyone in here. She does nothing.
At all.
Yeah. I had two people here and I was kind of flip-flopping on them. So obviously, I kind of went with the kind of story that Barney is kind of the short sidekick.
Yeah.
So I was like, it needs to be someone that's definitely not going to steal anyone's thunder. They need to be the sidekick. So you can't go anyone, too big that's going to, pull the thunder away. So the first person I thought of was Aziz Ansari or Ansir.
I hate that man. I hate that man.
Yeah, I love him. I think he's really funny.
I like Aziz, yeah.
But I thought he could do it, but I was like, I don't know if he'd fit the role well enough. I don't really know. So I went with somebody else who is I've used once before, I think, who's a very good secondary, Jolo Treligo. So Charles Boyle.
Okay, yeah.
Great secondary. You can see him
Have
giving
you
up.
Used him before?
I used him in something else before. I don't think he won, but I definitely used him before.
Yeah, you did use him once before. I do remember you mentioning him.
Yeah, I think I used him as Shmi.
Maybe,
I think yous were casting, and I was the judge, and I was like, this is who I would do as Shmi. But yeah, I went with him. He's a great secondary. You can see him being the whipping boy of his best friend for so long until he eventually kind of snaps, and then going back to being the whipping boy of his friend as well. So I was like, he won't steal anybody's thunder either. I think he'd work very well for the role.
I mean, in this one, Rick Moranis is the big name, really. John Goodman's big, but Rick Moranis was huge at this time.
Yeah.
Yeah, the thing is that Rick, he's very good at not stealing the thunder as well. He's very good. Like when he needs to be the main character, he can be the main character, but he has the ability to step to the side and not be the main character. That was the big thing with Rick Moranis. So good at that.
Very true. Agreed. What way do you go, Greg?
So I had one name. Remember I said to you straight away I had Barney cast?
Yes.
And I changed it today.
Oh.
Again, I kind of changed 3 or 4 picks today, and it looks like it's backfiring. The one pick I had, I would have had to recast everyone around him because he's older, and that was Steve Carell. I think he's probably one of the closest things you could pick to.
Yeah.
Rick Moranis. No, I know Rick Moranis has said that before as well.
Yeah, I'd looked at him, but age took me away from him as well.
I did not realize that man is 60 years of age.
Yeah, he doesn't look it when you think about him. And that's what I had him down until I was like, whoa, he's a bit too old. I was like, I'd have to recast everyone for this.
Yeah, so that's why I couldn't, as I had certain people cast as the women, and I was like, no, can't do that. And like he's too old, and like he doesn't look young enough anymore.
No.
So I went with Andy Samberg.
Okay. Jesus.
He's the bigger of the two names in this, and he's the funnier of the two. To me, he's the more important one of the two. I know it's focused around Fred, but the story doesn't work without his.
It doesn't, but I feel Andy Samberg he's a bit of a show stealer when he gets into something. When he steps onto the screen, you're kind of gravitated towards him a bit too much, I found.
We have a 9-9 show off here.
Yeah, Barney's also
show off.
Barney's always also been listed as quite a small, short character. Andy Samberg's quite tall.
Yeah, but then again, it's just who you pick for the next part.
It does,
It's,
yeah.
it's not hard to make someone look small.
No, it's not. That is true. I'm just, yeah.
I know you're trying to win your point here.
Yeah. I think out of those two, one of them can be a secondary and one can't. And we know which one's the secondary on the show they cast together, Greg. So you could be in trouble there.
What I went here was, again, I chose someone that can be a lead, but can also be a secondary. And it doesn't really matter how old he is because the man doesn't fucking age.
Bill Murray.
Paul Rudd.
Paul Rudd's so hot right now.
Paul Rudd's so hot right now.
Yeah.
You could see that.
And he's basically took over the Rick Moranis role in Ghostbusters as well.
Is he a little big? Like, not physically, but...
Name.
Like, Rick Moranis was big in that.
No, but, I mean, is he a little big in the fact that he'd steal the show now? I suppose in Ghostbusters
he didn't. The show in Ghostbusters?
I think.
I suppose, but he wasn't on the screen a whole lot in Ghostbusters.
I think Barney steals the show in this, to be honest with you.
I don't know that he maybe.
I think he does, but that's the reason I went. That's the reason I went as kind of comic as I could. Like Steve Carell, if it was 10 years ago, you wouldn't have even thought twice about it and just went.
Yeah, no, and I had Steve Carell as well until I went 60s too old for everyone else.
And then I was trying to cast females around him. Then I had to try and cast Fred, and I was like, oh fuck it.
Well, see, the problem I had there was I was like, if he's 60.
How old is Pearl? To be older.
No, how old is Pearl? I was like, Jesus, I was like, this would be too tough if he's going to be 60. So that's why I moved away from him. I
did also have BJ Novak in there.
No.
I was like,
no. He's not. I don't want to see Ellis in this role.
Oh, damn it, Ellis.
Don't tell him you don't know me, Ellis.
He could have been a good Cliff.
True.
He would have been a good Cliff.
That would have been where you'd put him.
Oh, this is a very tough one.
Samberg's the man for the job because of the name.
I think he's a screen stealer. I think when he gets on the screen, he does. All focus is on him. Focus is still on Fred. The majority of this film, I find. That's the way I looked at it anyway.
What I'll do is I'll be like Charles here and just submit to Andy Samberg.
Really? That's the problem, though, because Andy Samberg is the one. He's the lead. That's the problem. Yeah. You know, that's what Barney does. Barney submits.
A very tough one.
Barney submits everything. He's the docile friend. That's the way I looked at him. He's the one who submits, gives up his chance to get the promotion, to be the big man.
That's because he gave him the money to have the baby. Just saying, is all. He didn't.
It might be because somebody gave him something. But do you think Fred's character, had he got it, would have been giving up that opportunity? Not a hope. That's the way I looked at it. I was like, this character has to be someone who's docile enough to give up and like bend to the will of their best friend and be like, I'll give him everything.
True, but I can also see Andy Samberg just rolling with the punches and, you know, getting the job in the diner and obviously Joe can do it as well.
Yeah, I think he'd do that personally. I think he'd do that better because Andy Samberg's a main character. Like that's it with Andy Samberg. He is a main character.
So was Rick Moranis at this time though.
No, Rick Moranis was always capable of stepping to the side.
He was, but I think Andy is as well.
I don't know that Andy can. Anything
that he came into.
Anything I've seen Andy in, he's the focal point.
What was it? What was that one with Paul Rudd when he was getting married?
When he's getting married.
Yeah, he's getting married and he doesn't have any friends, so he meets Marshall from How I Met Your Mother. It's actually a really funny film. Andy Samberg plays Paul Rudd's brother in it.
Can't think of it.
Marshall from
How I Met Your Mother. I know who you're talking about, but I don't know the film. The only other film I'm thinking of him in is Hot Rod, where he's the show stealer. Yeah, he's the show stealer there as well. That's all I can think of him in. So, that's why I wouldn't think he'd be a good secondary. I think
Carl, in fact, does.
I think Charles Boyle is a better secondary, but we'll go on.
On we go. It's down to the finals, lads.
Mm.
Greg, you have champion's advantage if it's a draw. Ted, you need to get the win here if you want to move on.
Need to win here, yeah.
Greg, Fred Flintstone, John Goodman.
Terry Crews. No, I had a couple of names, so obviously it had to be a big unit.
Yeah.
One name that came to mind was John Burton. I just don't think he could do the comic side of it.
He's not. I don't think he's rotund enough.
Yeah, he's kind of shredded to an extent.
This Fred isn't particularly fat though either.
No, but
he's a big unit though.
He is a big unit, but he's not like I know in the cartoon he's
Goodman.
yeah, but John Goodman at the time wasn't. He did at least in the film he doesn't appear very big in that sense.
I think the clothes helped that.
Yeah, they did, but I'm just saying they don't accentuate that characteristic. Yeah, in this
wearing a sack.
yeah, just in this film they don't accentuate that fact too much is what I'm saying.
So I went to a comedy actor, a big unit as well. I went with Jason Siegel.
That's who I was. That's Marshall from How I Met Your Mother. That's who I was thinking of.
Oh, is it?
That's Marshall. Like, yeah.
I didn't watch How I Met Your Mother. I should really. I didn't watch The Big Bang. I went back and loved that. I watched. Obviously, just finished Brooklyn Nine-Nine. Loved that.
How I Met Your Mother is good till probably the last season and a half.
Yeah, it doesn't end. It doesn't end well.
Never mind. So.
It is good other than that. It just doesn't end well. That's the problem.
Oh, it ends terribly.
The end is poor. That's about it. Everything else is fine. And you don't need to really watch it in sequence either.
Well, it was 6 or 7 seasons when it should have ended after 3.
It probably 4 and 5 are probably okay, but yeah, a lot.
Yeah, but it was filler. They could have just ended it. You know, they should have set it out. Okay, we're only doing 4 seasons.
Yeah.
I think Jason Siegel slots in here.
Yeah, he's a good shout.
It's a decent shout. Yeah.
Character, yeah. And especially like when you watch him in the likes of the Muppets and whatnot, he plays that kind of.
He's a lovable guy, but he can also be a dick.
Yeah. So I kind of went with. I had a few thoughts here. So one of them that I thought was Vince Vaughn. I thought he could maybe do this role quite well.
Yeah.
Have you noticed he's moved himself sort of back towards horror now?
Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking. I was like, he's kind of moved away from these comedies. So he might not do it.
I read an interview with him where he's saying he just doesn't like doing it anymore.
Yeah, and I think I'd read that, so I was like, maybe he wouldn't take it, which is what kind of pushed me away from him.
If someone comes with a big bag of money and leaves it on the table and was like,
he probably would, but I didn't go with him. I was partially thinking Jack Black, but I don't know that he fits the role. As like a height wise, he doesn't really fit that role.
He'd be a good Barney, actually.
Yeah, I was about to say.
Sort of. He's.
Well, I don't think I would have chosen either.
Yeah, I don't think
the others over.
I didn't like him as Barney either. I went with someone who might be a risk here because I don't know if people are going to know him too well.
I'll get the phone ready.
Patrick Warburton.
I know Warburton. Yeah.
Good actor.
Yeah, good actor, big unit.
Good voiceover actor now.
He does. That's kind of where he's moved off to. Is a lot of.
He always did though. He always did a lot of.
He's been Joe in Family Guy for years.
Yeah, no, but you know, like he even what was it? The series of unfortunate events. He's the voiceover in that. Now you do see him because every episode started with him walking in, and you'd see him, and then he's the voiceover. He's obviously in Scream 3 or Scream 4. Sorry, he's in Scream 4.
What was he in? What show?
No, he's Scream 3, isn't he? He's Scream 3 because it's the Hollywood one.
Sorry, yes, 3.
Rules of Engagement was brilliant.
He was great in that. Yeah.
And that's where I thought of him for this role because I was like, the other ones aren't really comedy. I was like, Rules of Engagement is where you see him as the comedy guy. He's a big unit. He can be a dick, which we saw in Scream 3. He's a massive dick to everyone around him. Then.
Yeah.
So I was like, he works for that role.
I think David Spade. Is it David Spade?
David Spade's the little blonde guy.
Yeah, I think he stole that show.
Rules of Engagement. Yeah, he was very.
If he was a bit younger, I would have maybe thought of him for
Barney.
Barney as well.
Yeah.
But he didn't
doesn't tend to work now really without Adam Sandler.
Yeah, that's the thing.
If this was in the 90s, you'd have Chris Farley as Fred and
Yeah.
Yep. 100% Chris Farley and Rick Moranis again as
and David Spade as Rick Moranis. You definitely would have done that.
Yeah. So no, I went with Patrick Warburton. I think he's quite good. I think he'd fit that role very well. Which is
they're two very solid choices.
Yeah.
Two very solid choices. I went with Paul Walter Hauser or Stingray.
Who?
Stingray.
Oh, Stingray.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know about that.
Don't know if he carries the lead role.
Well, that's the thing. Maybe if I wasn't being the judge, I'd have put more thought in it. But it's like I like Paul Walter Hauser. I'm going to give him credit.
He's gonna kick off now in the next few years as well.
Well, he's already been in an Oscar. He was the lead in an Oscar-nominated movie already.
Yeah.
Is he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He didn't get nominated, but he was the lead in the movie, and the movie got nominated.
How the fuck does that work when the main character gets nominated?
Because it was his first movie, and the Oscars are corrupt.
Yeah, there is a corruption there. Like
we won't get into that. That's a talk.
It's a different subject, but yeah.
Let's just
it's another tough one. We've had one really shit one and two really tough ones here, I think.
Yeah,
the last two have absolutely
three. Maybe the Barney one's quite a tough one. I think Miss Stone was a tough one as well.
Miss Stone was tough, and Pearl was very
was tough. Wilma wasn't probably I think Wilma probably would have been tougher if she didn't have the choice I had as well.
Yeah. So
there's been some very good ones.
It is very tough. Very tough here because I like both choices.
I think Jason Siegel has more of the name than Patrick Warburton does now.
He does that.
That's gonna lead John Goodman. Like, you think John Goodman went from this to The Big Lebowski? Do you know what I mean?
Would have been quite similar times.
Do you know what I mean? Who's carrying the name better now? Like, Patrick Warburton does a lot of voiceover acting, and he's very good at that. He doesn't get cast much anymore as himself.
Might not want to though. That's the thing. Like
there is possibly that too.
When he does step onto a screen, he is still instantly recognizable. He still can be the main focus when he needs to be because he's such a big unit.
If you go to 100 people and ask, put up a couple of actors there and be like, which one of them is Patrick Warburton?
I think they'd know. I think they would. I think he's recognizable enough to know that.
I don't know, but Carl, it's up to you, bro.
I'm gonna give an opportunity here, okay? I'm gonna tell you where I'm thinking. And all right, so there's two things in which I'm going towards Jason Segel for. Okay, one, I think he's a better fit for Emma Stone, who was already cast, and the fact he is the bigger name, but with the rest of the cast and all that, he's 42 while Patrick Warburton 57.
Yeah, I did worry about this, that Patrick Warburton is
possibly... Patrick Warburton would have worked perfectly if we had to use Steve Carell.
Yeah, but then
actually, it would. But Fred, yeah,
they are older. He's 57. That's why I was just checked on my phone.
Holy jeez.
Yeah.
The thing is with him, he is 57, but he doesn't.
He does look it.
I don't think he does. I don't think he does. I still don't think he looks particularly that. I think he still looks very similar to what he looked like a couple of years ago.
I'm gonna Google this now because I haven't seen it.
I still think he looks very similar to I think he still looks like he always looked. He always looked a little bit old. And I mean, I don't think
does that look like the face of a young man?
He always kind of looked like that though. To be fair, he always looked a little bit older.
No, he did not.
That's
they're just the first two Google pictures.
Yeah, but that's him from the Lemony Snicket thing, and that was only a few years ago as well. That's my point, is that he's once they stick the makeup and stuff on him, he still kind of looks like that. I don't know, I felt John Goodman looked quite a bit older than his age in this as well, which kind of worked. I don't know, I still think I think Patrick Warburton does work. I don't think his age does take away from him too much here.
Can I just put out that they couldn't have cast a better Fred than
John?
No,
John, man is ever born to play a role. Apart from Ryan Reynolds playing Deadpool, this is
yeah. I thought Patrick Warburton. I think he has that kind of look, that the kind of square jaw, and he has that I'm a dick, but also perfectly happy to do he's perfectly capable of doing the comedy and stuff. I don't know, Jason Segel. I don't really remember Jason Segel ever being a dick. Don't know if
he can be a dick.
I can't think of anything where he is a dick.
I only watched a movie this week in which he was a dick in it.
I don't know. I've never seen him be a dick in anything. How I Met Your Mother is what I'd know him from, really.
To be fair, he's also a dick to Walter in The Muppets as well at one stage.
True. He was a dick and Bad Teacher.
Haven't seen Bad Teacher.
He is a dick in Bad Teacher.
Yeah. I haven't seen him in Bad Teacher. From what I've mainly seen him in How I Met Your Mother, and he was always
guy in the world, and How I Met Your Mother.
Exactly. That's what I always.
He's a bit of a dick and knocked up too.
He's just the nice guy. He's the kind of he looks out for everyone. He's always looking out for his friends. But that's what I know him as. So that's possibly my downfall.
I can picture both of them doing the Wilma scream and all that type of thing.
Yeah, I can't see Seagal being the dick that he needs to be.
He's also a massive cock in Tenacious D.
The less said about that film, the better.
He also has a massive cock when you watch Forgetting Sarah Marshall.
Yeah, I don't know. I always see him as the kind of the best friend, very happy, always willing to help his buddies out, best friend, because that's what I know him from. Maybe that's just me not having seen enough. Whereas I think Patrick Warburton has been a dick in a lot more things. Even in Rules of Engagement, he's a bit of a dick all the time.
He is, because he's playing the older guy in that. They're the older couple.
Yeah.
Looking back, and the younger couple.
But even his wife, he's a dick to her a lot of the time in that as well. It's not just because people are younger. It's just because it comes across that way.
Dick, or he's just sarcastic.
No, he's a bit of a dick to her all the time as well.
I actually might go back and watch that show again.
I'm gonna have to go with Jason Segel here.
Fair enough. I still think
the champ was on the ropes and he comes out swinging.
I still think you made a big one. Fred, I actually don't mind too much, because either one, I still think Barney is the one where you made a big mistake. I still think Andy Samberg is the wrong choice for that. I wouldn't have gone near Andy Samberg for that.
I wouldn't have gone Joe Treveggio, but sure, look.
You wouldn't have gone Charles Boyle as the whipping boy best friend.
Unless you're picking Andy Samberg as Fred, no.
But that's the only person you've seen him do it with. He clearly is very good at being the whipping boy best friend. Andy Samberg, I've never seen being the whipping boy best friend.
He's a whipping boy, and That's My Boy.
Never seen.
A little bitch ass kid who's
never seen that.
The one with Adam Sandler.
No, never seen it.
Oh, don't do it.
Don't do it.
Yeah, no, never seen it.
That's exactly what he is. He's a real timid, shy.
Yeah, I don't know. I would never have gone from.
His dad is real erratic in it.
Yeah, I don't know. That's a little bit of a.
Is that different one? That's it. Oh no, that's only 2, isn't it?
Yeah, 2 weeks. But yeah, okay. Right, so I have to give you.
What's the movie next week?
The next
show.
The next show. Right, we'll go with. I have a couple here. So what will I go with? I'll go with one that's going to be, I think, quite tough to cast. And go with Dogma, because I think the two main boys are going to be very tough to recast.
You mother.
How do we go about recasting Alan Rickman again?
It's less about recasting Alan
Rickman. How do you recast Jane Silent Bob?
How do you recast Jane Silent Bob? The problem is you can't. You have to recast them with somebody else.
Can we not? Can we
not just recast the exact same?
Nope.
Can we not just use Jason Mewes and Kevin Smith again? Because I mean,
one of you can try. One of you can try if you want, but we'll see. We'll see how that goes down for you.
That's big fat zero.
Yeah, I don't think it'd be work out well for you. So you can try, but we'll see how that goes. But until that show comes out, that's it for this week. Good luck.